This program is sponsored by the LPI. Let's make learning work.
Learning News is continuing its series recognising achievements of people in workplace learning. The Learning Leader of the Year award is presented to an outstanding learning leader who has made a real difference in a strategic sense to their learning operation and their organisation as a whole. Judges look for impact and effectiveness and how they are seen as a leader amongst their peers. This year's gold recipient of the Learning Leader of the Year is Sarah Macklot for her work with Gales and the Bread Factory, and she's here with me. Congratulations, Sarah. Learning Leader of the Year. First, a bit about the team at Gales and the Bread Factory. Tell me about the team you work with and its challenges.
Thank you so much for inviting me to talk to you, Rob. My role at Gales and the Bread Factory was a group role. So we had a team of 18, real mixture of diversity right across the team, loads of amazing talent. We did everything from onboarding, the typical skills and behaviour development, talent development, so building our talent pipeline, all the way through to leadership development and building really great programs that developed our craft skills through our baristas, head bakers, etc. So so quite a broad brush of learning disciplines.
The judges are always focused on the difference made in the last year. What stands out for you about your work in this last year, Sarah?
One of the reasons I joined Gales and the Bread Factory was it was growing, and the role itself was a new role. So it was like standing in front of growth. So building the learning and development strategy, building a high performing team. And there were really sort of three big challenges on the horizon. One was rapid growth. So Gales were growing at 30 to 40 bakeries a year. So really huge expansion. We had quite high turnover. So second challenge was around turnover and opportunity to increase retention. And the third piece was around capability to scale at pace. So building craft capability, but at pace. That was the third element.
How do you see the wider challenges in learning and development faced by our industry in the years ahead?
I would say that, AI is everything that's being talked about at the moment. So I think we've got a big challenge around how we hold on to the human element and complementing AI. So the human skills that can't really replace AI, but work hand in hand with it. So I think that's going to be one of the biggest challenges for the industry. And that's kind of building things like, really concentrating on leadership skills, the human centric element, growth mindset, resilience, all of that great stuff. I don't think any computer's or technology is going to be able to help us to do that. We're reskilling our workforce and upskilling our workforce as well. So being really mindful of the future skills that we need and really getting on top of that now. And I think the other thing for me that I'm always really interested in is the generational learning. So Gen Z and Alpha coming up, just making sure that as a learning profession, we are personalizing learning. We're making sure we've got great career pathways in place and that people do see a career progression quickly. So it's not like, waiting for that to happen. It's like really being proactive about that. So building that capability for people to do that.
This program is sponsored by the LPI. Let's make learning work.
What advice might you have, Sarah, for others entering this award in future years? What do they need to get right?
I think the biggest thing, certainly the biggest piece of feedback, it was a really fabulous experience going through it. Testimonials, I think you've got to have people really talking about you and sharing your success. I'm not a great one for talking about myself anyway. So having those testimonials to really back up what you do, the impact that you make, how you go about your daily life, how you build the team, etc. I think the other bit is really proving return on investment. So how does learning, which is always very difficult to do. I've been in learning 25 years and it's really hard to pinpoint what that return on investment is, but just finding those sort of 3 or 4 KPIs that you can really pinpoint to say, we made an impact on the business through this intervention. So I think return on investment and innovation. I think just showing something a little bit different. In Gales of the Bread Factory, we have a lot of programs where we like to brand them and they're really connected to our values that we live and breathe. And I think just showing that little bit of innovation that might be a little bit different to make the judges kind of want to know more, I guess. Overall, I would say though, be you. Be you showcase you and your team and the human side of you, I think. It was a really great conversation that I had. So
That really comes across, Sarah, and it's a very special achievement. You join an exclusive club of learning leaders who've won this award over the decades, and I look forward to following your work and what you will go on to achieve. Sarah Macklot, thank you.
thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
This programme is sponsored by the LPI. Let's make learning work.